We learn through repetition, and we learn through emotion. As human beings, that's how we learn anything. So let's talk about learning from emotion. So how many of you remember where you were on 9/11? Okay, for me on 9/11, I remember it vividly. I was at work. We had no radio or TV in the store, so I really didn't know what was going on, and I get a phone call from one of my customers and tells me what happened. And I just remember that day so vividly because I couldn't find out what was going on, and I had to wait until the end of that 12-hour shift before I could get home and turn CNN on and watch what happened. By that time it was already 10, 11 hours later, but I remember it so vividly because it was such a day that everybody was coming in all depressed and telling me all about what's going on, and I couldn't see it for myself, and so it was a long day. So that's what I remember about 9/11. Now, my earliest memory of a big news event was the Apollo space mission. I can remember so vividly sitting there, sitting around our black and white TV and watching Neil Armstrong take those first steps on the moon. It's just something that's going to be in my memory forever. And then on a local note, I can remember the day when the DuPont chemical plant blew up here in my hometown. It was a fact, the chemical factory, DuPont, my grandfather worked there, and he had just got home from work when it happened, and we were actually over his house. And you can see way off in the distance, you can see the smokestacks from DuPont, and I can vividly remember seeing those smokestacks falling down. So that's another early memory that I can remember, and these are all based on emotion. One more thing that I can remember is the April 3rd tornadoes that struck this town. I can vividly remember where I was. My dad was cooking dinner. My mom still hadn't got home from work. She usually didn't get home from work until about 6 o'clock. And, it was kind of, it was sunny out at our house, but, there were thunderstorms in the area, and we had a 2-story home at that time. And I remember, hearing on the news that, there was a tornado sighted off what was called Greenwood Road, which wasn't real far from our house. So I remember going upstairs and looking out the window. It was going the opposite direction, so we didn't have to worry about it. But I remember going upstairs and looking out the window and can see that funnel cloud. And then I can vividly remember hearing on the radio Dick Gilbert, the traffic helicopter guy, just talking all about, he's near the airport and talking about what he sees. And I can vividly remember the radio station had the control tower at the airport on the radio, and the guy in the control tower was talking about how everybody else had evacuated the control tower because the tornado warning, and then he starts reporting that the funnel cloud is coming down on the runway at the airport, and it's heading straight towards the control tower where he is. And I can vividly remember him dropping that telephone in the middle of his thing saying he's got to get out of here, and the line going dead. And then hearing the traffic helicopter report on it, because it was in the area too, and how it took the roof off the fairgrounds and destroyed the horse barns. And then as he passed through Louisville, he followed that tornado all the way through. I can vividly remember all this. These are memories based on emotion, and that's something we can all do. But can you remember what happened on January 25th last year? Unless there was something significant that happened in your life, you're not going to remember what happened on that day. So the point is, emotion creates something in us that's going to stay with us. When you attend a big event like a convention or something like that, one or two things from that event you're going to connect with, and it's going to be something that stays with you. So one way we learn is through emotion.